We're ready to go live and see what's what and who's a whatcha and the whatchamacallit and the doodads and the how to dibby
and the hibbity bibbity.
How to leverage social media. Share Josh singing Mary Did You Know. I mean, you're not wrong, John. I think that
you know, actually, yes. There you go. Why is this not? Oh, because it's live. Where's the story? There it is. Having an old man moment.
Oh, you know what I didn't even do? I didn't even check my speed test. Speed test. Beep, 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 beep. All right. While we're streaming, let's speed test her and see. Yowza!
What just happened?
I'm speed testing.
It went real, like, grainy there for a second. Blah, blah. My end. Oh, I see it already.
Yeah, that's your end. You're kind of like weird.
Come on. Okay. Is anything on in my house that is connected to Wi-Fi? All of the Alexas are dead. TV's
that's
off.
hilarious.
I'll leverage over here. John.
You gotta see
John's
this.
in here. What's he got?
You got to see this. Can you make that out?
I can't make it out. 900 and 917?
900 down, 917 up.
No.
Yes.
Those are fictitious numbers. They're just making it up at this point. 11 billion.
11 billion.
Up and down.
11. I wonder if I can. Oh, you know what
run
would
a
be
speed
cool?
test right now? See it crash?
Here. I wonder if I can do this. I wonder if this will. All right, so I've got my NDI, but I wonder if I can.
I'm about to run this for you. It's the pre-show. If I get kicked off, I'll be back. Ooh!
Right.
Oh, we're having a good day. At least for the download. Come on, baby. Go! 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 I have never seen these speeds before. Go! 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 Yes! Yes! New personal best for the download. Come on, upload. Wow. Man, there's nothing to complain about over here. We used to do this live stream with, like, under 5.
Right.
And now I'm at 60 up and 90 down. That's not a bad day for me.
There's fresh.
I'm still skitzing.
Well, yeah, you are, but I'm not.
How? How could I be skits? I got 60. Oh, wait. Yeah, 60 up.
I don't know. I don't know how you were skitzing out. See, now you're better.
Good.
Yeah.
Let me turn this over here. There we go. There you are.
Yeah, you were just bogging down a little bit.
I think because I'm still in 4K. That's the setting I forgot. Are you shooting? Are you doing 1080?
Yep.
Looks
1080,
like
30. The HD is 1080.
Jarrod's audio is lagging. Yes. Awesome.
Hi, people. You guys are there. I'm here.
Da, 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 da.
I wonder how many screens I can get going on at the same time. Let's see if we can do... Where's my...
I can't. Josh likes to have it in 30. I was in 24 to start. I was still lagging, though.
There we go. That's all I got.
That's awesome. You need to have, like... You need to have one in your living room for, like, the fam cam. I think that'd be funny. Or, like, have one of your kiddos carrying it around. Like, I'm not having them do anything. Just kind of like the
Yeah.
GoPro tape to the dogs and stuff. But your kids, just see what they're doing. I think that'd be fun. Let's check in on
I've got the
Genevieve. What's she doing? Whoop.
You know, the interesting thing about this, though, is that I'm kind of impressed that between the 3 cameras, my audio, like the video of it,
yeah,
pretty good. I mean, it did a pretty decent job. I was actually kind of impressed. Anyhow, enough of playing around with that stuff.
That's entertaining.
Yes, we got snow too. We got snow. The snow was good. I like the snow. There's the snow. Here, move the snow up. That way we can see the snow in between us. Snow is nice. I enjoyed it. I'm one of those odd ones that I kind of think of it this way. And I was talking to a bunch of people about it because I start singing Christmas songs like, I don't know, the first time that temperature gets below like 70. You know, first time I put on a hoodie, I'm thinking, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. And then people get upset, and then I keep asking for snow, and then they really get upset because they tell me that as a pastor, I'm not supposed to be saying 4-letter words. It's like, but snow is amazing. And so for me, up here in, I mean, pretty much wherever you're at, but especially in our neck of the woods, the cold is inevitable. Like, you know, it's
coming.
It's Thanos. It's just going to happen. You know it's going to be cold. So to me, if I have to suffer through the cold, at least make it pretty and give me some snow. So I've got something nice to look at. Because there's nothing more miserable and depressing than it being cold and just brown. Like everything is dead. There's no green anywhere around. The grass is brown. Trees are brown, the leaves are all gone, and it's cold. That is miserable and depressing. But when
you
it's
are
white,
describing, if I took my camera to the window,
winter in Texas.
Yeah, that's it.
See, it's
like gray, brown.
Yes, yeah, gray in the sky and then brown down. And that is like the most depressing thing for me. Because after days upon days upon days of just that, I'm like, I hate this. Somebody give me something. So when I get fresh snow, it's like, ooh, it's white. And you walk outside and it's still gray in the sky, but the sun's kind of blaring through all of the clouds and reflecting off the snow, and you blind yourself, and it's like, ooh. It's like, see that the webcam doesn't even do it justice. Because I don't know if I can... like overexposed much. That's me just pulling back the curtain. Like it's that bad. The ZV-1 will show us.
Whoa.
Right? So that's how bright it is. It doesn't do justice with just that little thing. So I love snow. I pray for snow. Like our church will get on board with saying, can we, we take prayer requests at the end of service, and they're like, let's pray that the snowstorm moves past us. And I was like, you're going to have to pray for that on your own, because I cannot be in agreement with that prayer. It's just like, somebody else pray about that, because ain't going to be me. Like, I can't do it. Can't do it. Let's see, what else
Check out
Orlando. In my house, if you pray for snow and it does snow, you solely bear the responsibility to shovel the snow. I will gladly bear that responsibility if I get more snow. And by bearing that responsibility, I am good at delegating, so I will just pay one of the kids to do it.
I don't understand. That's something we don't have to deal with. I sympathize with you guys because it sounds like it's a mess, but like, what happens if you don't shovel it?
The city comes by, they shovel it, and then they charge you $75.
No. What?
Yes.
What if you want it that way? I want to crawl out of my house. I want to dig myself out.
Well, we have to shovel the sidewalks because the sidewalks are technically public property.
Oh, okay.
So that's the only thing we have to shovel. The rest of the stuff, no, we don't. And just because of, sidewalks, public
That sounds like a city issue.
It is. It's just a city issue because you get out
Like,
and
you just walk around and back in.
well, that's what I would think. But what did? Oh, hey, it just went over and it kicked me out on the wrong camera. I didn't. Want
You're
that
in
camera.
you've left the pre-show. Now you're in the
Ooh.
now
Now let's see
entering
if I
pre-show.
can swap us. Ready? Swap. There we go. Yes, now we are in the pre-show of the pre-show of the pre-show of the. Who knows what this show is? Is it even a show? What do we do? Just looked at my hat and it seemed a little weird. Yeah, Genevieve likes the snow. She won't even say love. She likes the snow. She hates the cold. And I'm there. I don't like the cold. Like if I could get, 72 degrees and snow, that would be amazing. Like if somehow like the laws of nature were to reverse to where you could get a snowball and pack it up and throw it at people and just be wearing like t-shirt, shorts if you want, jeans, just no Crocs. Then yeah, absolutely. I like that idea.
I think you lost on that one. That's the one time I can say thank you, Gen Z, for your horrible taste.
I do have a pair of Hey Dudes, but I think Hey Dudes are more stylish than Crocs.
I'll give you that. I can see there is nothing more atrocious than a pair of Crocs, but they're comfy.
Well,
Wear them every day.
They're comfy. I did buy a couple Crocs, not for myself though, but for the girls. But that's just the kind of dad I am. I will buy them.
Even see public use around my area. Yep. I'll be caught in a gas station, possibly a grocery store, depending on which one, with a pair of Crocs on.
Nope. Can't do it.
That's as far as I go, though.
Yeah, I can't do it. Yep.
They're camo, too, by the way. Very, very flashy.
Dustin, hey, good to see you. Glad you're here. I was checking some of these other comments there. John says switch to 24 frames per second. That would be funny. If
I did. It's still frozen.
No. You're all right now. I mean, it's a little pixelated, but that's just you. Because you don't have this 916 down and 918 up.
No, I have the fastest internet I've ever had, and I'm still, look at this, I'm still lagging. My voice is behind.
It looks okay for me right now. So.
Crazy. Oh well. Is what it is.
Yes, audio is better now that Josh stopped trying to break it. It was not me trying to break that. Oh, yep. And then he says, scratch that. He continuing to try to break it. I was not. Josh's second monitor now with 70% fewer sticky notes.
That's what was slowing things down. They just compacted and were blocking the signal.
This is true. Yes, they are right at the edge where the lake effect bands were hitting. Yeah, you probably got hit pretty decent with snow. We just got, I don't know, I think it was 2 inches, something like that. Not too bad. Yes, I had people start wanting to throw things at me saying, I like snow. Yeah. He said, John saying, I've said the same about everything brown here, but it looks so much better covered in white. See? Yep.
Shorts and boots, summer staple. That's right.
Where are we at? Ooh, driving in the snow because it's slick is fun. Driving with the glare is miserable. Facts. Yep. Logan blames Genevieve for the snow because the day I put up the Christmas decorations, it snowed. In the country, you only shovel or plow where absolutely needed. True.
Okay.
Give it 2 hours. The area you shoveled is filled back in with drifting. True. Yeah, he does shorts and long boots.
So are you shoveling all day, or do they just want you to like make an effort?
In the city, like where you have to,
mm-hmm.
versus out in the country where they only snow where they have to. In the city, you have 24 hours to clear the sidewalks. I think it's 24 hours. And if it's not, then they will come by and they'll throw their snow blower down there. And yeah, it's like 75 or $150. I can't remember what it is. It's astronomical. but that's just how they're going to make their money. So basically, the people that are working and can't really afford to pay somebody to do it for them, but they're gone at work because they're trying to make money, those are the ones that they wind up charging an astronomical rate.
Y'all got to do something about this. This is a problem.
And all it comes down to,
I'm third party offended right now.
I'm usually out here, and like we had an elderly neighbor to our south, and I would just shovel his. I didn't care. I was like, I'm just going to shovel it. I mean, it's not that much farther, unless I was like freezing, and then I was like, y'all on your own. But yeah, we'll get out there and do it, and I'll even shovel my drive just because it's small enough that it doesn't make sense for me to pay somebody to come in and plow it. But it's big enough that I probably need more than just a shovel, because that ends up being a little rough. But yes, definitely got to do something about the overreach of government when it comes to a lot of these things.
That's
I don't
messed
know what
up,
the solution is. Flush the whole swamp, drain it all. Drain it.
You're trying to trigger me again.
Am I trying to trigger you? Drain the swamp? Do some more drainage?
For real, man. It's getting out of hand. Whatever.
Maybe we need to put in some more term limits on people.
Just saying.
Crocs are the way to live. No.
Yes, go ahead. I'll finish it up for you. I've recently been converted, says Orlando. Thank you, sir. Yes, I agree. It's the way to live.
Have y'all tried Hey Dudes?
No. Why would you? Get a good pair of Crocs for cheap.
Hey Dudes aren't bad. I mean, they're $50.
Good pair of Crocs for cheap. Won't do you wrong. I've had this pair.
Oh, you're not wearing them right now, are you?
This pair right here. Oh, I'm always wearing them. Surprise! You probably couldn't see those. They're camo, but they are fantastic. Maybe nearing on 5 years. How long has it been? It's been a long time. 3 to 5 years in that range.
I don't remember. I remember seeing them at some point.
Well, it took me a while to bring them out in public, I'll be honest.
Well, I'm sure.
I didn't want them caught on camera. Didn't want anybody to see it. And then after a while, I was like, nope. This shoe has done me right. It gets to ride with me to the grocery store now. Leaf blower. Don't know what that means. Does that work?
Leaf blower. If you get the light fluffy stuff. Yeah. Light fluffy stuff. Who said leaf blower? Yeah, use a leaf blower, Josh.
Right, John.
Yeah, a leaf blower works well as like a snow blower. Especially if it's the light fluffy stuff. It's the big heavy stuff like the wet snow that doesn't work real well. But yeah, the light fluffy, just a leaf blower. I think I'm going to start going electric on everything. I was just looking the other day for like electric leaf blowers and snow blowers, and then I'll wind up getting an electric car and truck. And actually, I'm just going to go with moped. I'm going to drive a moped everywhere I go.
Thus far, just because there's so many fewer parts on all of this stuff, I've really liked going electric because I don't have to work on my chainsaw, pole saw, weed eater, whatever before I go out to use it. It's like, thank you for just working when I pull the trigger. The end. And you don't smell terrible, and it's a lot quieter, and okay, those aren't bad. I'd wear those. I'd wear those everywhere.
I wear these at church.
Yep. No.
Yeah, they just roll up and nice and flat, lightweight, comfy. But yeah, I do. I wear these at church. So I just started wearing them at church because, I mean, they look nice enough. Oh, Orlando says, if they made fancy Crocs, I'd wear them to church.
Oh, they do.
They do. They're called Crocs,
he has right there.
Called Hey Dudes.
Yeah, what he has right there, Crocs makes a version of that. I've got a brown pair. Love them.
And you wear them at church?
I wear them at church. Have worn them at church. I haven't worn them at church recently because they're not quite as thick as my camouflage. If I could wear my camouflage Crocs to church, I would.
Now, this time of year, you could probably get away with camouflage Crocs around here in most churches, just because it's hunting season.
Gotcha.
So it was, which is funny. Like the other, actually, it was yesterday. I was out driving the bus, and of course, snow hits, so the deer are all over the place and scattering. And it's that time that deer are all over scattering, anyways. Thus, hunting season. Let's make sure they don't scatter into cars, which they've scattered into my bus twice. But every other driver was on the radio talking about how the deer are out and they're jumping all over the place. And I'm thinking, I haven't seen any deer on this afternoon route. What is going on? And then I come around a corner and there are 3 high schoolers with their shotguns and their orange vest walking down the middle of the gravel road. And I was like, oh, now I know why I'm not seeing any deer.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm just like, all right. So camo Crocs at church would probably work this time of year.
Jen at a stoplight yesterday, speaking of hunting, and the guy in front of me, he's got a gooseneck. Typical, it's Texas, right? He has 8 deer feeders on the back and a blind, like a whole deer blind on the front. I wondered to myself, is that too much? At some point, you're like, you've set up a feed trough, and the deer are coming to the feed trough, and you're just wasting them when they come to the feed trough.
I mean, with the prices at the grocery store nowadays, I don't think it's too much.
I get it, but I feel like it takes the sport out of it. Like, you're no longer waiting on the off chance. Like, you are the feedlot.
We're not. I think at this point, with the prices, the way things are going with our food, there's a lot of people that they're not even in it for the sport anymore. They're just in it for the food.
They're harvesting it.
Well, when I've hit them in the
feral pigs down here.
Yep, when I've hit them in the school bus, they want to know exactly where it was hit at because somebody wants to go fetch it while it's still warm. I'm like, I mean, you might have a bruised shoulder, but other than that, you should be all right. So yeah, they'll go and they'll pick them up and get them quick.
How often does that happen? How often do people hit one in a school bus? Is that like a yearly? Is that like a quarterly? Is that like a...
Well, it's just during really the fall season, fall and winter that, they're out pretty good. I would sit there and say we typically down here, maybe 2 a year tops. And typically it's only been like 1 a year. Now, how many things do we hit? How much wildlife? 1 or 2 a month of something. But yeah, I've already hit 2 myself. So I know one of the Suburbans clipped one the other day too. And it's like, and this morning I barely missed 2 more, but it's slick out on those gravel roads and I'm driving this big bus and those ditches are deep and I'm not slowing down. I'm not hitting brakes. I'm not swerving at all. If you wind up in front of me, you're going to wind up underneath me. So, but yeah, it was barely, it was enough that, the grip tightened up just a hair.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, we're going to get it. And then they just barely moved out of the way. And one of them was a good old buck. So I was like, yeah, that's going to hurt. The does are small enough that they just kind of roll under. The buck, depending on if he gets a little antsy and jumps, I don't know. I don't think it's wound up in anybody's lap yet. A turkey has, though. Turkey wound up flying and hitting the windshield and came through.
Came in.
Yep.
Yeah.
But they're big. They're big fat birds. Speaking about turkey, Thanksgiving next week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love me some turkey. Turkey. You got any big plans for Thanksgiving? Grandma's.
Grandma's.
Yep. Yeah, we'll go over to Grandma's and hopefully there's turkey, ham, might as well do both, and beef and noodles.
Oh, I have heard that is a coveted dish right there, beef and noodles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beef and noodles is tasty. Homemade egg noodles with some like roast beef, just roast, kind of ground up.
How are we talking homemade? Like she made the pasta, she makes the pasta that goes in it, or like
when she does it right. If she can get away with it, she will run down. What she's done, I think, the last couple times is she's ran down to the Amish store and got their homemade egg noodles, which, fine. But growing up, yeah, she would roll them out. Like the week before Thanksgiving, her kitchen was just in prep mode. So Yeah, kitchen table. That was just, it was a noodle surface. So throw the flour out, mix it all together, lay it out, grab a rolling pin, and we're all sitting there helping to roll out with her and cutting them up and throwing them in a Ziploc bag, throwing them in the freezer.
That's pretty cool.
Tasty. Now I'm getting hungry. Shouldn't have done that. You got any big plans for Thanksgiving?
Yeah. So split family on my side. Every other year, so one on, one off. 1 year's Jesse's side, 1 year's my side, and that by that I mean takes the lead in the Thanksgiving. We still fit them all in, but so on the day of Thanksgiving, this is my side, which my mom is always the one who hops on that one. So we will be having usually not turkey. We will probably have either steak or baby back ribs or something like that. My stepdad he had a steakhouse back in the day, and so he's into that sort of thing. So he'll come up with some sort of crazy meat to cook, and we'll do that, and all the sides that we're used to, like 30 pounds of baked potatoes, and so just a massive amount of sides, because we'll feast on that for days and days and days. And then my dad, who is a Jim, he's come up with a brilliant idea. He has the Cattleman's Ball, that's what he's called it. The Cattleman's Ball. It's like the day after, maybe the 2 days after, at a restaurant down here called Babe's, and it's chicken. And basically, no dishes, no mess. He takes the whole family out there, and we go to Babe's, and it's an experience. It's like family dining type of a thing, and they'll bring your different meats, and it's family style, and you can hurt yourself down there. It's fantastic. And then we'll figure out Jesse's side whenever they all get back. They're doing a traveling Thanksgiving this year. My in-laws are, getting older, kind of transitioning from their house to the kids' house, and it hasn't quite been established who's going to be hosting. Yeah. So this year it's at a different house, a different location, because somebody wasn't, how it all goes with family.
We were just talking, I was talking to Mom about that over the weekend. I remember growing up, Grandma had 4 siblings, if memory serves right. I think there was 5 of them, if I'm not missing somebody. And it was like every year it would rotate around to somebody else's house. So it was always on Thanksgiving Day we were going to, with Grandma, but it was where we're going. And that would just kind of vary. And I remember doing that, but then at some point I just stopped, and since then it's just been at her house, and that's just how it is until she decides it's not going to be there. And then the next eldest gets to determine where it's going to be and work it down from there. But yeah, that's where what we'll be doing.
Is that what y'all do for holidays pretty much? Whoever the eldest is, they determine? That's us too.
Yeah. That's pretty much what it has been. And like it was only like on those, like Thanksgiving's only the real one I remember being with like the extended family, the cousins and whatnot. I don't really remember. Mom said that we did it for like Easter as well, but I don't remember that growing up. Not saying that it didn't happen. I just don't remember it. But never on Christmas. Christmas was always just at Grandma and Grandpa's, and that was it. But that was the thing, like Grandma and Grandpa on Mom's side was always Christmas Eve. It was never on Christmas Day. And so it was always on Christmas Eve. And then on Christmas Day, it was at the other grandparents. So Christmas works well, kind of for us now, because like with my family, Jen's family, we'll do Christmas Eve with my grandma, Christmas Day with hers, and then my dad, he always picks sometime in June or January. He's like, we'll just figure out something. Let's wait.
For a second, I thought, June?
Yeah.
Man, I like his style.
We should have him do Christmas in July.
I dig it.
But yeah, that's kind of what we do. Thanksgiving was always the weird one. Like growing up, because both of my grandparents would have Thanksgiving, but Melcher, Dallas, where they're from, it's a dual town which has one road that separates the 2 small towns, and the joint population of Melcher, Dallas is, I don't know, like 300 or something like that. It's tiny. And the one road, they would just, like, here are the intersecting roads. They would do this. Like that was the town line. You'd have to pull up to a stop sign, turn left, and immediately turn right to get on the next one.
Oh, don't like that.
Yeah. But my grandma on my mom's side, grandma and grandpa lived on Melcher. Grandma and grandpa on dad's side lived in Dallas. So we'd go to Melcher, and then we'd go over to Dallas afterwards. So we could still get both on Thanksgiving in the same day. With Jen's family being in Des Moines, it's hit and miss. And they've had some where it was like they would do it at noon, and then others they were doing it like 3, and then they were doing it at 5, and then it was at noon, and then it was at 3, and then it was at 5. And
she
grandma's
has a bunch
is always
of siblings,
the same
right?
time. Yeah, she's got 8 siblings.
So I would imagine it's pretty rare when they're all able to get together and.
No,
it's not. They're able to pull it off.
Like we'll get
good on them.
At least because there is a little bit of a split. So 2 of the siblings are like half siblings. So the 7, those 7, they get together all the time. Yeah. Like all the time. She'll say that they don't get it together all the time, but they get together all the time. But I'm also a weird one. She likes that close-knit and everybody and anybody getting together. And I'm weird even being an extrovert because it's like, I don't want to. Like, I just don't want to. Even with my own siblings, it's like I'm a couple times a year that we all like do one big function. That's plenty. Other than that, just stop by here and there. Like, just call and say you want to swing by or you want to get together or whatever. But beyond that, I'll see you at church or I won't. It's pretty much how I roll. So, and I also realize I am the odd one in that because just have that select few that I'll go out of my way. And maybe it's because I'm so busy. Like we're turning this into like counseling session or something, but I'm guessing, I think a lot of it has to do with me just as busy as I am and the mental exhaustion that I go through, that it just winds up being a case that I need to dial back here and there. And I like a day off that's actually a day off, so I don't want to do something every single day.
Absolutely.
At least give me a 1 day a week where I do absolutely nothing. Like just 0. Sit at home. Getting dressed is optional. Like that's my plan.
I get that. Hey, while we're in the counseling session, what do you see?
A blob, scribbles, squiggles.
Interesting. I'll make a note of that.
Okay.
Scribbles.
Sharpie.
That's very, tells
product of a Sharpie.
It's very telling.
It probably is.
Just gonna say, very telling. Wow.
Okay, let's get some more comments and then we can think about doing the actual show. John saying some places you can bait like that. And I think we were talking about, that's what we were going to talk. We were talking about the deer. Yes. He's going to start making sure they have plenty of appearances in his vlog. Josh, what? The leaf blower? The snow? Snow. Snow needs to have lots of appearance. My favorite thumbnail. Oh, maybe the deer. Actually, I was thinking about getting like a dash cam just for the bus. The adventures of driving. If for nothing else, just like, how Casey Neistat will have his like the time lapse stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'll do a time lapse. I'll just set the dash cam and then just drive through. So thought about doing that.
That's actually really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think it would just be funny. But nephew has 4 miles of sidewalks to clear for one of his account. He is renting a ride-on leaf blower to try for the winter.
Okay.
4 miles of sidewalks. We've got like that much sidewalk down at the church that, I'm not going to shovel. I wonder whatever happened to that. I don't remember actually paying that fine. I don't know if they ever gave us a fine.
Bluffing. Are they going to charge a church for that? They're bluffing.
Well, that was the thing because
during COVID, bluffing.
Well, and that was my thought behind this because what's going to happen is they will have to attach that to something. So they could try, if it was a city-run water department, they could try to attach it to the water bill. But in order for them to do that, they would actually have to pass an ordinance through the city to allow that to happen, which I doubt would actually pass. And apart from that, the only other way that they can attach the fines would be to like your property tax. However, church is a nonprofit, so it doesn't pay property tax. So good luck trying to get that. I don't remember ever paying it. Maybe mom paid it.
Josh's going to start flying a flag over the top. It's going to be like a snowblower in black and the white. They're like, come and get it. Come and take it.
What do you do for the 3 hours prior to work then without working on the engine, Jarrod?
Yeah, I know. No, I'm serious. He's got a good point, because if you could imagine a world where you go out, you grab your tool, you plug in the battery, and then you just go to work.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't stink afterwards. You don't have to put on hearing protection. Like the whole thing. The whole thing.
Yeah.
I know they had their day when we were trying to plug them in with extension cords, and we're like, stupid electric. What is wrong with these things? And then you had the battery that would kind of work, and then the thing would die. But now they're solid.
They've got some good batteries.
Golly.
You gotta love the dogs. One of these days we just need the dogs to like both appear in the back, and then they can just put headphones on them so they can start talking to each other.
Mine would. They'd be down.
Augie says there's a comedian that says that's how you should duck hunt. A loaf of bread and a gun in a city park.
Oh my goodness.
Duck tastes good.
He's not wrong.
We've got a guy that is on the sheriff's call list for roadkill. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think
my in-laws used to be.
Yeah, our county sheriffs, the county, the guys, they do that. Deputies, depending on who's out. So deer hit a lot in the summer and morning. It's dark. It's most dangerous. Yep. Dark, and anytime there's weather. Like when the weather starts shifting, the temperature starts shifting, there's a storm brewing. They're all out and about and going crazy. John, I will purposely leave the road to get some of the smaller rodents.
That's a friend of mine. Like there's a dog on the end of his road, and like every so often he'll just like he swerves into it. I'm like, stop. Not the dogs, man. Not the dogs. But like he'll go for him. He's like, well, they're gonna learn one way or another. They chase every car at the corner. I feel like I'm doing them a service by teaching them that these things bite back. Makes me nervous every time. I'm like, dude, you're gonna catch that dog.
I've ran over a dog in the school bus because the dogs, they just seem to want to chase after tires. I'm like, you don't know what's going to happen when you actually get a hold of this tire. This tire is going to bite back.
You will catch it one day.
And I had one that there was a pup that ran out, and it decided it was right next to me, and it wanted to try to attack that tire. And of course, the girl that it was her puppy was in the back and started screaming, and let her out and told her go take it back in, and we'll get a hold of Dad and let him know what happened. And Dad's response was, good. I warned her not to let the dogs out.
Oh, goodness. Yep.
No, and I got a couple dogs on some farms down there that they just, as soon as I'll turn a corner, they're kind of crouched down and they're staring, they're hiding, and they want to see me get by, and then they jump out. And I'm like, be careful, because I ain't swerving and I ain't moving. You get underneath me, I'm just keeping the drive.
Yep.
Turkeys ripped off the mirror of the truck before. Those are never fun. Genevieve wants to run a Thanksgiving run before eating all of the food. You should do it afterwards.
Genevieve, no. Calm down, girl. This is not the time. This is the opposite season for all that mess.
Listen to Jarrod. No. And actually in Melcher there is a like Thanksgiving run, but it starts at like 8 o'clock or 8:30, and I'm like, no.
There's something wrong. Genevieve, there's something wrong. Okay? Hold on. Where is it? Genevieve. What do you see?
She sees, wait, I'm channeling her right now.
Is that a leg? Is that a leg running? Is that a person running right there? That's a face.
She sees her 5K running path. That's
No, your first thought should not be, bet I could get a run in that day.
Try using squirrel instead of beef with the noodles. No. Not that I'm opposed to squirrel. Squirrel's good. But I'm not substituting anything for beef. If I got my choice between cow and any other animal, I'm going with cow.
Ooh, I don't know. Good. Oh man, went to Florida this last week.
Okay.
Had a lamb chop.
Lamb is delicious.
I have not liked lamb in the past.
Really?
But I can see where there is a meat that I would choose over beef. Probably if I just ate from that restaurant. But holy cow, it was good. Well, holy lamb, it was good. Yeah.
Yeah. See, Augie, beef and noodles in Iowa is like a protected meal in Iowa. Yes, it's on the endangered list.
I hear that, man.
Because now we've got all of these youngins that don't know how to make noodles, and they think that making noodles means you went to the grocery store and you bought something out of a box. No.
So is that a thing? Like, it's known that you make your own noodles, or is it just like...
For anybody that has taste buds, yes.
Okay.
I mean, but we got this younger generation that, I mean, it's all fast food, and it's going extinct, I'm sure. We're probably a generation, and then it's gone. Other than a few restaurants that'll still do it. But that's the crazy thing. Like, I've seen restaurants popping up lately that what's on their menu. Like, that's what we make at home all the time.
Yeah.
Why would I go to your restaurant? And then I realize
because they don't make it at home.
Who is raving about it, and they're like, "Oh, I haven't had this forever." I'm like, "What's wrong with you? Y'all not cook anymore?" Apparently not.
No.
So,
DoorDash.
Yeah. Genevieve, my oldest daughter, talked us into doing a 5K this weekend. Y'all are crazy.
John, my goodness, do I need to? No.
John, what do you see in here? We'll have fun, I'm sure. Not sure how the 7-year-old will do, especially when it's probably only be 15 degrees when we start. No. See, that's not going to be fun, right? Yes, Jen saying there's 9 of us. She loves her crazies. They are her people, siblings. Yep, crazies. Augie, I took that Bible verse of making a new family very serious. So, like, the whole family is nice, but I'm out beyond that.
That's funny.
Fair enough. That's a pig. What's a pig?
What? Feeders? For the feeders?
I don't know.
I didn't think about that. They were very short feeders. I assumed that you bolted them on. I don't know enough about feeders. I don't do enough hunting, but they were very short. It was a mess of them.
I'm looking through. There's a whole lot of stuff on Crocs. Who uses hearing protection? I have a truck without exhaust right now. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, here you go. Acceptable noodles to use. You ready?
Ready.
Make your own.
Okay, there we are.
The local Amish place.
Okay, because they made it themselves. Gotcha.
Or frozen Reams noodles. And I will say that they're in a pinch. That's a brand. In a pinch, they're okay. In a pinch. Because they're about the closest you can get to. Although there is another one that I saw that's actually like, it's in the dry good for the noodles, but it's actually Amish noodles, and they're in there with Reams for me. Where it's like, I mean, if it were, I don't know, like, let's say it was May 13th. So just a random day, go ahead and use the frozen or those dry Amish noodles. But if it is a day that has anything attached to it, that has any amount of importance attached to it, go with either your own homemade or the Amish homemade. That's it. Then cardboard. Yeah. Everything else tastes like cardboard. It's just they're just not good. Not good. A lot of places popping up like that. Oh, The drawing. That's what Augie saw. Your drawing. He
Was
saw
a pig. Okay.
Yep.
All right, Augie.
Jared's drawing was a pig, which, fair enough. All right.
Yeah.
I'm taking the pre-show out. What are we talking about today? We were talking about leveraging social media over the holidays. I think this might have come from Augie, too. I think it was something that he had mentioned. There were a few that he mentioned a couple weeks ago in kind of rapid fire, either on IG or on Facebook. And it was just like I jotted them down and I threw them into our Trello board that neither of us really look at until like Wednesday morning. So I think that's what it was.
Good luck.
How do we do a hook for this one?
Well, your concern is the rub is that you're not reaching people during the holidays, or they're not being informed about something. So I would start there somewhere. But that's me.
So you do the hook. How you like that?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, you like that pressure.
Yeah. I usually just sit here and go. And then what happened?
and then what happened? I'm gonna let you do it this time.
Okay. So how about
Sounds good. Let her rip.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you're ready.
I'm gonna double it. I have a feeling that making your own noodles is about to come out. That's all. That's where my brain is. has not shifted over yet. Okay, so we should do this. My rub is that I have no clue what to post during the holidays, but why? For what, Augie? What do you want to do? What's your hope? Like, what's your concern?
What would our concern be?
We were just talking about that. We don't have a concern about this during the holidays.
Well, we don't. Okay, what would other small churches? Ooh, in the holidays, people might be missing service. So how do you stay connected to them?
Ooh, okay. You ready? Send me full screen. Come on, I'm ready. Can we do this hook, or are we going to have to come back and do it?
Do it.
Do it? I got to try to do it with the Joshua Verwers thing. Let me try it. Ready? And scene. Afraid that your people are going to get lost during the holidays? We're going to answer that question today.
Welcome to the Vlog Pastors Podcast, a podcast all about the stories and strategies of sharing God's love in the digital world. Now, here are two pastors that love to put a camera in their face and walk around in public. They are the Andy Taylor and Barney Fife of digital ministry, Jarrod Brown and Joshua Verwers.
That's right, I am Joshua Verwers.
And I'm Jarrod Brown, and this is episode 69.
69, and I am the used to be a vlog, but not so much because now I only live stream pastor. And glad to have you here on what is... can we even call this the Vlog Pastors Podcast if I'm not actually vlogging anymore?
Yes, I think we can.
Okay.
You have enough of a base built up that yes.
The Used to Vlog Pastors Podcast?
If you ever pick it up, it's still your mantle.
The Used to Vlog Pastors Podcast. Hey, anyways, glad to have y'all here with us and what other platform you're consuming this content on. We're glad you're here.
So glad you're here. Yeah. You want to do the shape the conversation at 10:30, or we just gonna wing it? And remember, you can help us shape the conversation every Wednesday at 10:30 by hopping into the comments and asking your questions.
Yes, and today is one of those where Augie wound up asking a question, and it was along the lines of, how do you wind up leveraging social media over the holidays? And since you're a vlog pastor and I'm used to be a vlog pastor, we've got this thing that we call digital ministry. We do a little bit of it. We've dabbled, if you will, a time or three.
Our toes in. Just a little toe.
So we've got a little bit of experience, and we can... Sometimes I think it's hard for us because we're in it so much now to go back to the pain points that we used to have with it. thus this morning's hook of like, what would the pain point be? Where are we coming in with this when it comes to leveraging? Like, what would be the problem that we're trying to fix? The solution that we're looking for is because why? Sometimes we struggle with that, but we've got this experience because we have dipped in and we still are in both of the physical and the digital and the ministry aspect. So we're able to at least see things. And like today we're talking about, okay, it's holidays. Holidays. I don't know about you, but when it comes to holidays at our church, attendance is typically lower. Now, we might get a spike on Easter and Christmas. Might, but that's not even a guarantee. But it's typically around the holidays that people have got, places to go, people to see, things to do. And for some reason, church just kind of gets shuffled down on the priority list.
Yep.
So we're trying to still reach them and connect with them and make sure that we're still ministering to them. Can we leverage social media in that scenario? Thoughts?
Let me, why I would love to go first. What's funny about this, we were talking beforehand, and just where we're at in life and ministry, we don't have these pressures right now. I mean, the biggest thing that we've got to do is a newsletter at our church right now. Old school, I'm talking near bulletin style newsletter, Joshua. And that's just kind of where we're at, as
still printed out on paper?
No, we don't. We don't even do that.
Okay.
No, I mean, it's rare. It's an email now. I went away. I've developed, come on. You know how we do. We came up with an app. We had landing pages for stuff. We pushed everybody to groups and pages, and we were beating that drum for a long time. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, nothing scored better than text messages and emails.
Yep.
And I hate to say it, but the old marketing practice is right. If you've got it's about open rates, and it's about getting in front of people's faces. And if you can get on that little box, like we've been saying for years, if we can get on that little box in their pockets and in their hands, we have a chance at least notifying them of what's going on. And so we've been using email newsletters just to let folks know of what's going on, what's coming up, anything that's come out, anything that the church has produced, all that sort of stuff. Thanksgiving programs, Christmas, kids programs, community events, those types of deals. We try to pack it with as much pertinent information, and then we try to do it timely. Yeah. I know this is not necessarily social media, but I'm swinging the other way to say sometimes we just use our social to let them know, or to get email or phone numbers so that we can work them into the way that is fail safe. If you're a small church, you might have all of those emails, you might have all those numbers, but we've since maybe last year or so have a renewed commitment to emails and text messages, just because the app was clunky over the years. We lost it. Facebook is waning in its influence, so that's not necessarily the greatest place to find everybody. They're everywhere else. And instead of having to come up with 93 different social media packages, we're trying to drop what we would call, some sort of banner content for people to go, oh, hey, Grace Fellowship exists. I forgot about these guys. And then ask them to be involved in, signing on the dotted line with their email. So that's it. That's the end. I'm just kidding. That's where I would start. I mean, ultimately, yes, social media packages, and I'm sure you've got some great ideas that you're about to lay out for us. But I would say whatever you're doing in this season, you're just keeping your people, at least for us, if you're a small church or a small church pastor in a small town or area or whatever, just keep them connected for this time. There's so much going on. We see a lack in our attendance during this season. This is where everybody's going to visit family. Yep. They're out of town. We don't have creasters at all. Right. There's gonna be a huge dip. You would be lucky to have
you call them creasters.
I've just heard that over the years. I don't necessarily call them creasters.
I thought they were the
to their
CEOs.
Face anyway. CEOs was at Christmas, Easter, and only. Other only. Okay.
Christmas and Easter only. No, we typically don't have any of the creasters or the CEOs or whatever other term you want to come up with them. We typically don't have that. And ours at our church does dip down every holiday. It doesn't matter what it is.
Odd, isn't it? Because I would prefer that new people didn't come on those days, because the times that we have, the rest of the congregation is absent. And so it's like, hi, well, it's us. It's not always like this, but hang out and you'll get to meet people the next time if you come back, but they're not.
Well, usually. And I think what I've seen in being around other ministries and talking to them, it seems to be like that medium to large size church. That's where they do get the big influx, especially over the holidays. It's the small ones, the sub hundreds, that they're seeing a dip. I think the closer you get to that.
Yeah, exactly. I went to, so there's a large church in our city, and they put on basically a outreach, social media outreach type of thing, like what to do in these situations. And their deal is the low hanging fruit is around the big holidays.
Yeah.
And that's where they said to use social media as your, that's like your front porch. Like if there's a block party that's going on or somebody passing by, you're going to put your content on social media and you're going to holler at them to let them know, what's going on in your world type of thing. I don't know that I agree with all of that, but that is where, them being a 1,000 or so member church, that's where they do their pushes. That's where they make all of their invites. That's where they do their giveaways. That's where they do their, anything big that's going to happen. They're going to throw in a prize, a challenge, a series, of whatever at the holidays. And that's where they're going to make their swipe for low-hanging fruit.
Yeah. So I was thinking about this let's look at this in both regards. The ones that we can't quite relate to as much for the medium to large size churches. The ones that do, we won't even go with church size. Let's just say that there's two different churches. One that are going to have above average attendance and one that'll have below average attendance. What can we do when it comes to the social media that we've got to be able to reach and connect with those that either are attending when there's an increase or those that aren't attending when there's a decrease? I kind of want to even preface this around a poll that I saw, and I was kind of glancing over here and trying to find it, and I don't know where it was at. Oh, wait, nope, I just found it. I'm scrolling down. Let me see if I can pull this up. So this was on Church Social Media Managers on Facebook group, and it says, Christmas falls on a Sunday this year. What's your church doing? Christmas Eve service plus closed on Christmas Sunday. 22% voted that. Christmas Eve service plus in-person Christmas Sunday service, 43%. Christmas Eve service plus an online-only pre-recorded Christmas Sunday service, 12%. No Christmas Eve, in-person Christmas Sunday service, 19%. No Christmas Eve, online-only pre-recorded Sunday, 1%. And nothing at all or other, 3%. So when I was looking at this and I saw this come through, and I've seen in other, church Facebook groups and Twitter polls, conversations that are out there where people are asking, hey, what's everybody doing? It kind of caught me off guard because I was like, it's Christmas. Christmas, Christ Mass. The thought of not even having a in-person service hadn't even crossed my mind. But then think about it, see what some others are doing, and I'm like, oh, well, there are churches that they have a below average attendance. And because it would be below average, and because it's that day and maybe everybody else is already traveling and going somewhere, maybe they wouldn't do something, or maybe they would just do an online only, which, how is it us as digital ministers, myself, would not even think that would be an option, especially after many churches did that for an entire year. And maybe that's why I don't think of it as an option, but it's like, there could be that option of recording a service, whether that's your only thing or whether it's a secondary thing. So for me, that's where I was sitting here thinking that the churches that have a below average attendance, maybe one of the ways to leverage more people or leverage reaching your people would be to make a digital version that you could put out there. So that way, if they are traveling, if they're not going to be there, but they're still identifying as part of your church, maybe it's a way to reach out to them. Now, whether that be pre-recording it or going live, if you're doing it every Sunday, then it's kind of usual, the normal practice, but maybe that's something to push and promote and say, hey, if you aren't planning on being with us on Christmas Day, just a reminder, we do live stream. You can still join us from home. Or, hey, for those that aren't, if you don't live stream, if you're not going to be able to be with us, Christmas morning, we're doing a pre-recorded message and it'll drop whenever, whatever. I thought that might be, as I was thinking about it and seeing what others are doing, I'm like, that's actually a really good idea.
Really good.
Like, really I'm thinking, now all of a sudden, my default position was, no, I'm going to show up Christmas morning, and anybody that wants to show up Christmas morning, I'll be there. And now all of a sudden, I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe this is actually an idea. Maybe I will just pre-record my Sunday message, and then if I still want to show up in person, I can wear Crocs and pajamas and just play the pre-recorded message for those that would show up in person. I'm not wearing Crocs, by the way. Pajamas, maybe.
I'm writing this down because we're going to have a Crocs and pajamas Christmas Sunday service. I am not kidding. I am not kidding.
It'll be like the what's the Dr. Seuss, like Fox and Socks or something like that. And it's like, that's what.
Oh, yeah.
So anyways, that was just kind of me thinking out loud, was like, this might be a way. We've got this equipment. Like, we had 2020. Every church, if they had a couple brain cells to put together, yes, I'm going to be that decisive and divisive on it.
How do
if
you
the
really
churches
feel about it?
had a couple brain cells to put together, they figured out some way of leveraging some form of the internet to reach their people. Why not use what we learned, especially through the holidays, to try to reach more? And then we've been doing it all along, and some people just kind of take it for granted, because if it's always there, you don't really notice that it is or it isn't, and you may just kind of forget about it. So maybe now's the time where we start leveraging it a little bit more and saying, hey, reminder, we do this. We are going to do this. You can join us this way or this way, however it is. Thoughts?
No.
None. Okay.
No, I would do the same thing, man. I think you've given me, because we're not going to do anything. Let's face it, it's the opposite. What's the least amount we have to do during the holidays, because everybody is so busy and going to be out of town and whatnot. Like I said, ours is a shift. It's just keeping people aware of what's going on. So I think this year, I think it would behoove people if I made some sort of video or some sort of video announcement inviting, number one, the community, to come, and just reminding our folks that we will have church on Sunday, because I've had several questions about it. And as we know, as YouTubers, if people are asking several questions they don't know, number one, and number two, that's a great opportunity to answer people in mass. So that's an interest that people have. Is there going to be a service? Yeah. I can tell folks what is being offered, and then to put a fun spin on it, it can be in pajamas or whatnot. So we're going to do, Christmas service in pajamas. It's going to be real low key, and you can invite the family. You can come from your Christmas, because we're at 11. Come from your Christmas straight over and hang out, and we'll do worship as a faith family in our pajamas. I like that. So that'll be something that I'll do, and I'll probably build a couple different packages around it.
Yeah, and here's what we were actually considering doing, and this is all unfolding for us right now. But one of the things that was recommended to me was actually to try to get to do an earlier service on Christmas. And the thought behind it was a lot of people are doing lunch for Christmas. And so because they're doing a lunch, which is typically around noon, maybe if we had an earlier service, then more people might attend. So that way they could get in, enjoy church, and then get home and get things ready for, all the family that's showing up. And that's the hard thing, is because as we were just talking, in the pre-show, each of us, like, we've all got these different family traditions that we do. And it's not like every one is the exact same. And so because there's no cookie cutter mold that we can put on this and then look at our church and say, how do we help fit with what everybody else is doing? Well, now everybody's doing absolutely everything. Somebody's doing something in such a way that we're not going to be able to be all things to all people. But how can we be the thing they need to the most amount of people to be the most effective for it? And that's kind of where I was looking at this and thinking, okay, well, maybe if I pre-record it, and that way they can watch it while we're having it. And then I was like, wait, but if I do that, that means I've got to preach twice. So then it's like twice as much work for me. But what if I don't preach it twice? What if I just pre-record it, and then it's almost like I get a Sunday off, even though I show up, but then I just hit play. And then I just have to sit there and watch myself talk, which might be a pain.
Hard pass for me.
But I'm thinking maybe that would work. And then we've done. Yeah. We haven't done pajamas, but we have done ugly Christmas sweaters. And it's usually the Christmas or whatever Sunday is closest to Christmas. We've done that the last few years, where it's like ugly Christmas sweaters or my ugly suit jacket. So,
get your suit jacket.
Suit jacket.
I think you could pull it off if you did like what I mean by pull it off is be able to sit inside of service and watch yourself preach the sermon. I think you could pull it off because one, you have the skills, but I think if you did a vlog, like a funny vlog, like the one where you jump off the roof. I mean, it doesn't have to be that over the top, but something along those lines. I think it'd be fun to be able to sit there and enjoy a work of art with the congregation or the people that it was designed for. I think that'd be pretty neat. And then
the other aspect
the recipient of it.
The other aspect of pre-recording something like that and putting it out there is now you've actually done a little bit more prep on that Christmas message, to the point that you've thought about how do I expect people to set through this? If you do pre-recorded, edited down like that, if it's just a pre-recorded live, that may work for you too. If you're not good at the editing front, maybe you want to go down sometime in the middle of the week that week and just pre-record a Christmas message. And then that way it just schedules and it posts there. There's that option for it as well. But I do think if there was more prep and planning in it, that more prep and planning can never really hurt unless it just leads to only prep and planning and not actually producing anything. Then that's a problem.
The former vlogmaster says.
Yeah, the used to vlog. So I could see that being very beneficial to do something like that. But then here comes in the other part of leveraging it. No matter what we do, whether it's a pre-recorded, whether it's not recorded, whether it's in person, and here's where it comes to the churches that are having an increase in attendance, and they know they're going to have an increased attendance. Use social media to promote. Like, promote it, build up the excitement for it. If it's a pre-recorded message like I will likely do, in that scenario, I'm going to be creating teasers, and I'm going to be doing some Instagram stories, and I'm going to show some behind the scenes of what's going into it to build up the hype and the anticipation and get people excited. Because if they're excited for it and they're coming with a little bit of a hunger and expecting to get something, I think they will. Then when it comes to an in-person service, you got more people attending, the same thing. Hype it up, build it up. Hey, we've been looking forward to this day for the last 364 days. Why? Because as the church of Christ, that is based on Christ, we celebrate his birth like nobody else. And we're looking forward to this. This is the birthday bash that we've been looking forward to. We're putting in all the work. We're getting things ready. We're excited for you to join us. It's going to be a fun time, celebration, whatever the end goal for that is. But you just start hyping it up. You let people know, hey, you want to be here.
We did something. So what I think it was key that I want to extract from what you just said is every family is different as well. And your church family is different. And people want to know how different families operate. And I think you have a whole schedule, Lord willing, if there's body life in there at all, you have a whole schedule of things that you guys do uniquely as a church, not just the sermon on Sunday for, Christmas. So you probably have a Christmas party or whatever you have going on. But Jason and I, we did a teaser, what Josh is talking about. We did a teaser for our Christmas party. So that's one of the unique things that we do as a family. And it's what do they call the white elephant? Is it white elephant where you steal?
Yep.
So it gets very heated, and there's a whole lot of yelling involved, and not in a angry way, but it's just for fun. It's a funsy thing, and it's very loud. There's a progressive dinner. It's a full-on thing. And so one year, Jason and I did a teaser for that, and so it was just kind of like a pan in. I don't know if I posted on social, but not social, on YouTube. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there was a kind of like a pan into a Christmas tree and then a bunch of B-roll around it. But it had some crazy music in the background, and eventually the big reveal is Jason and I are standing there around the Christmas tree with these giant, those heads that you can buy.
Oh, yeah.
One of us is Santa and one of us is Rudolph, and we're stealing the gifts from one another, and it gets kind of crazy. But that's actually the song that's playing in the background. It's about to get crazy. It's about to get crazy, and that was a teaser, and the people loved it. Like they were sharing that around like crazy because here comes the Christmas party, and oh my goodness. Anyway, anything we can do like that to create buzz about the traditions that you have, because you might get an extra family or two that show up and have a blast at your Christmas party, or they want to see. There's a famous picture in our church now of Shane. You guys know Shane. Well, Josh knows Shane. A friend of mine, Shane, who we have a party around burning the trees after. Everybody who has a live tree will come over to my house on New Year's, and we will toss the trees in the fire once they're good and dried out, and they go up like a Roman. Just well, there's a picture of Shane, looking like Gladiator, holding this flaming tree up in the air. And we've posted that. It's just a picture. It's a post. It's a single picture post. But that gets so much buzz around friends and family talking about, the New Year's Eve party's coming. Post the picture of Shane. No, post the one of Casey, the one where Casey gets hit with the flaming embers and it goes everywhere, So nice. Anyway, I think things like that where we can share our family culture, I think those could be standalone social media events that, depending on platform appropriate, like Instagram for the pictures and.
Well, and it's one of those that I think the thing that you took away that I'm taking away in the sharing the differences in there, I think there's a lot of times that we have such differing approaches to things that because somebody does it different than us, we think that different is wrong instead of different just being different. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden when it's somebody that we know and they do it the way that we thought was wrong, but we actually know them and we've got like a relationship with them and we know that they're not evil heretics, but all of a sudden they're doing something different than what we would do, we're more open to thinking about that and then getting some understanding of why people do things different. Like to me, until I got into ministry, I didn't actually know that churches would do like a Christmas Eve service. I had no idea. Like,
me either.
Because I had never experienced it. We always, and that's, my grandpa and grandma, they founded our church. It's the church that I grew up with. And because of that, it was like, I'm always seeing it from this approach where the way that they've always done things. And all they've ever done was just Christmas Day, because as a family, we were the ones that would just do Christmas Eve with them. And so because Christmas Eve was only with them and we didn't do a Christmas Day, like I didn't get that that churches actually did a Christmas Eve, that they would do like a candlelight or whatever it is for those services. And so because that's a different approach, I had never experienced it. It wasn't until talking to some other people that did it, other churches that I knew, other ministries that I knew, and finding out why they're actually doing what they're doing, that then all of a sudden I was like, oh, I might actually be likely to do that at some point in time if we ever stop doing our own family gathering on Christmas Eve. Then yes, I would see that. And then thinking about other churches that you're getting together, but you've got the options. So you've got a Christmas Eve service, you've got a Christmas morning service, there's an early service, and then there's a later service. And it's just kind of giving the options for what do people want, what's their best time to actually get in there and to try to worship and celebrate the birth of Christ. So that's one of those that when I started thinking about it from that perspective of, okay, let's look at the way others are doing things, then, hadn't thought about that. Because for me, even going into this, like it's the idea of not having a Christmas Day service when Christmas Day is on Sunday. Like I get not having a Christmas Day if it was like on Wednesday, but when it's on a Sunday, like that was the thing that just I never would have thought.
Same.
Like, all of a sudden,
everybody
I start looking
me,
around.
Are you gonna have?
Yeah.
Are you gonna have service on Sunday? I'm like, what do you?
Why wouldn't I? Yeah.
What kind of question is that? What do you mean? Are we gonna have like? Is the sun coming up? What do you?
But then you start asking around. I'm looking around. I'm seeing other churches, and it's like, you know what? There are going to be other churches that aren't doing that. Their doors to their physical building may not be open on a Sunday for Christmas, and it's like, I wouldn't have thought about doing that, but I at least understand the approach now. So I don't know, just kind of interesting.
It is very interesting.
Yeah, I want to get through to some of these comments that were in here, just to kind of go through. Let's see. I'm looking here. Yeah, Augie's saying we have a huge influx of people. We're one of the churches that everyone visits their family here.
Oh, cool, man.
And that's the other thing that I've noticed, that a lot of churches on the holidays, it seems to be you're visiting family on Easter and Christmas. So because it's Easter and Christmas and you're going to visit family, you're often going to the church of whatever family member is right there, or the church that you grew up in. So I can see that definitely happen in ours, because, and that's the weird thing with where our church is located, nobody lives in that town. So they're all their homes are out. So everybody's congregating to this one central location on that day. Right. And it's like, that's where I could see so many are. Now, it's funny because I'll get people in our church that are like, oh, well, we're going to be with family and we decided we'd all go to church together. And I was like, so why didn't you just tell them that they all have to come to here? Like, yeah. I mean, I get it. Let's go to church together as a family on the holiday, but why not here? And of course I do that kind of tongue in cheek, poking fun, but I think they probably take it a little bit more serious than I intended it to. John's saying that we definitely see a dip in attendance. We cancel our Wednesday nights for December.
What's a Wednesday night? Go ahead. Sorry.
What's a Wednesday night?
We don't have Wednesday.
You don't have do you have a midweek?
No, we have
or home groups or something like that.
Home groups, house churches. Yeah.
So we used to do midweek at church, and then we switched that to just being home groups. But we've done that where I think it's from July, I think July and August in the summer, we don't do home groups because that's when most are taking vacations and whatnot. And so we just don't do it at that point. He said, but we see a handful of visitors on Christmas Eve, but it's a few people's family members coming with the regulars. Yep. See? To not do a service on Christmas confuses me.
Confuses me as well, Augie, but I get where they're going.
it never crossed my mind. And it didn't cross my kids' minds. Like I remember Logan was the first one that probably brought up what we were doing on Christmas to me. And he brought it up in such a way, he's like, okay, so are we going to open our presents before or after church on Christmas Day? And that was his only question. Because he was like, we're going to church on Christmas Day.
Right.
But are we opening presents before or after? Like that was...
Okay. Dude, I'm about to... Here we go. Because it's a podcast. I got to dip my toe in it sooner or later. Went to a wedding last week. Filmed it. And the officiant gets there, and he's a chaplain in the military. I get it. They've got their issue. They got their rules. They've got to kind of be able to do a Judeo-Christian service in kind of a broadness. Mm-hmm. Well, it is. It was none. It was none of the above. So the guy comes in and said, "Okay, cool," and he starts talking about love, and he starts talking about, the joining together of two lives. And at the same time, we got done, and I was like, "Do you stand for anything? What did you just do?" Yeah. Like, why didn't they hire? They wanted a chaplain. They wanted some form of priest to come in and marry the two. And at the end of the thing, like Jason, I got together, like we're de-micing the guy. We're like, what just happened here? Oh, they wanted a very generic wedding. I got you, but like you represent somebody. Like what was the point of this then? Just why didn't they hire a friend? Anyway. That makes no sense to me. This also makes no sense to me. This is Jesus's day.
Wait, what part makes no sense? Not having a service or church service?
We would meet together, gather together, and celebrate his day at some level as a community of faith. I mean, I get it. Some people are traveling. Some people are going to go. Maybe they're going to check in with other. That part I understand. But as far as the host church, I can't understand. It would be showing up to Thanksgiving without a Thanksgiving meal and going, meh, we ate on the way.
I think the only thing that would really confuse me about it now, because I've been sitting in this for a few weeks now and kind of looking, the only thing that would confuse me is not doing anything.
That's what I mean.
In and around
Nothing.
There. Like, if you don't want to, if your doors are closed on that Sunday morning, whatever. Did you do something the night before? Are you doing something the day after?
Okay.
Did you have an online version on that day? I mean, to me, it's like, as long as you did something.
Yeah. I don't want to get legalistic about it,
right.
But this is our, it's not our Super Bowl because Easter would kind of be our Super Bowl, but like this is a fairly significant event. And to not even so it's observe like it as if you're a pagan. Exactly. But I mean, sorry, as if you're a non-believer.
Yeah.
Oh, we got the day off and we're going to open presents with kids. Fantastic. I feel like you missed the point.
Well, what about Jesus?
What? What are you doing then? Like, what is it? What are we even doing?
If there's nothing, that's where I would definitely take that approach. As long as they're doing something, I may not get it. I may not agree with it. I may not understand it.
Yeah.
But as long as they're doing something, okay. Then I'm okay with it. Just, do something.
Yeah.
So, and that's me, full disclosure, saying I have no idea what we're doing.
Yes. We'll say, apparently we're doing pajamas.
So yeah, apparently
Crocs and pajamas.
Apparently that's what you're doing. Augie's given you a title for that Sunday. Faith, Family, and Flannels.
Oh, you're hired.
Yep. And you've got to do it in that, the red flannel background and everything. Yep. So there you go. Faith, Family, and Flannels.
Oh, I love you guys. Thank you. So. Come on. Do you want to write a sermon for me? Next.
Yeah. Let's see. Living in the Gap saying, I think we lose more people during deer season than over the holidays. Yeah. That would get. Augie or John saying Augie, absolutely. We had people ask that, and I looked at them absolutely confused. Yeah. I've had people ask me that, and I was just like confused. I'm sure is the look, because now I'm looking at myself on the screen. It's like I'm thinking through when they asked me, and yeah, that was a confused look. But that was prior to me thinking this all through. It was just like gut reaction is like, but why wouldn't we? Like on the day that we celebrate the birth of Christ, why wouldn't we?
Oh man, I mean, prior to COVID, our church missed 2 days in its 25-year existence. And I remember those 2 days because I was the pastor on deck who said, "No, it's way too bad out there. We're making the call. This is it." And I remember the people going, "But we've never this is the Lord's Day." So to combine that family atmosphere with
for Christians, the second most important day of the year.
Exactly. It's like
without his death, we're not saved.
Yeah.
And without his birth, there can be no death. So it's like that. This is the second most important day that we should be celebrating as Christians. Now, many say that it's the most important. But yeah, exactly. So it's like, to me, that's where I'm there with you. Like, we've canceled a lot more than that, but it's usually because of, inclement weather. But yeah, apart from that, I wouldn't have even thought. But now we're post-COVID, we're in this digital space, and all of a sudden it's like, I can foresee there being this as an option. I mean, I could. But I think some of that depends on, obviously, the church, your own circumstances, what your people are kind of looking for and expecting out of it. And above all of that, prayerfully seeking the leading of the Holy Spirit in all of this too.
Right.
But that's where, I'm like, I hadn't thought about that, and there is maybe some wisdom in the multitude of counsel. Not maybe, there is, we know that, but being able to hear from different voices and see how things are being done. And then it's like, maybe this isn't an either or, but an and both type of a situation. So I don't know. Maybe.
Well, if my options are sometimes, sometimes with my crew, I'll get we just couldn't make it, so we turned on Joel Osteen, and I'm like, no, let me start here. I'm sorry, guys. No, let me recommend to you a couple pastors that have done, vlogs, or I've got a whole channel that you could hop on and watch, or let me, first of all, let's start there. Secondly, like that.
First of all, go back to our own church's recording of last week's message and listen to that again, because I guarantee you didn't get everything out of it.
Exactly. Like, we too have recorded. Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway. No, sometimes that's a passable thing. Like, that is a common occurrence these days. It's like, oh, hey, we couldn't make it. Something came up at the farm. Something came up with the kids, and so we popped on Joel, and we're fine. It's like, no, I mean, yes, whatever. I get you. I'm trying to be legalistic about this, but like, if the Holy Spirit led you to it, totally different scenario. But you're not tracking with the family of faith, because we had a real time message,
right?
For this congregation. This is what we are studying as a group of people. This is how we're being developed by God. There were some real pertinent things last week and this week that yeah, man, I don't understand. And to add that to a Christmas where it's the second, like, I released a video last week about and people made comments saying, God's chatty. I like that part about it. Well, he's incredibly chatty. Do you think he's going to miss that opportunity to speak to his people on like the second most, when they're gathered together and you're gathering together
to worship the birth of my son, and I don't want to talk to you about it at all.
I'm not going to honor your commitment to come and gather together, not forsake the gathering together of believers, whatever.
Although, hey, in fairness, and let me play devil's advocate a little bit. That may be an inappropriate usage of that, but it might be appropriate depending on how you look at it. I would honestly say that the most impactful thing that has ever happened to me on a Christmas Day was not at church.
Mm-hmm.
It was in my living room when Logan decided, before we open presents, we need to read about Jesus' birth. And he grabbed his Bible and he read us the Christmas story. Like, that probably had the biggest impact out of anything I've ever experienced. And yet that was just with me and my 5 and maybe a couple of dogs. Like, that was it. So...
No.
To be fair...
Totally understand identifying and marking key God moments that occur on the regular outside of, and that one happened to be. I get it.
It also just wasn't on a Sunday either, and that's what we're talking about. We're talking about, like, this is Christmas Day, and it happens to fall on a Sunday, and for those of us who are the Sunday worshipers, not the Saturday worshipers of the group, like, those are the things that it's like, well, this doesn't happen every year, so we're now thinking about that, and it, you know, I think I was pulling this up to try to see when the last time, because I remember it happening, the last time was in 2016 that this happened. And then it was 2011 prior to that and 2005 prior to that. But the next time it'll happen is 2033. So it's not going to happen for another 11 years. So this isn't like it happens every year. Mm-hmm. Now, what does that look like in 11 years from now? I don't know. We're probably going to have like full VR mode, and I'm just going to invite the church into my own living room and then be like, we ain't going to church. You can come to my house.
Come to the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge.
So,
preach a sermon there.
Yeah, interesting. Tim J. Lee, good to see you. Glad you're here. Saying we're doing Christmas Eve with pre-recorded Christmas Day service.
Cool.
If we did a Christmas Eve service, that's probably how I would lean towards. But like I said, we don't do Christmas Eve, so
I would. That's me too. I would, but we have a sister church that their Christmas Eve service is just so good. I don't want to miss it.
I've never attended a Christmas Eve service, but that's awesome. Again, we do Christmas with Grandma and Grandpa, and it has always been on Christmas Eve. So it's like the thought never occurred to be Christmas Eve with church. I know. Anyway, I like it.
If someone could come up with like a social media package that would reach you to let you know that Full Faith Church is going to be meeting together Christmas Eve for candlelight service.
We're not doing that.
You know, singing some good old hymns. There's going to be
I'm having beef and noodles.
Barbecue.
I'm going to be getting my belly full. I'm going to be having me some French soaked pie. Grandma better make some French soaked pie. Or wait, I've got to make the French soaked pie. I think I made the last one. Never mind. I'm having pumpkin pie.
Whatever Grandma's making, I'm having it.
Costco made that, and will continue to make that because huge Costco pumpkin pie for $6. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Yes, I can. Okay, so Augie's saying that their services is 10:15 and it's over by 11:20. So yeah, for a Christmas Day, doing it that early, it's over by 11:20, especially if it's most of the people right there in church. They get back in time. I mean, you throw the turkey in the oven, leave for an hour and a half, come back, it's still cooking. You're good to go. I like it. John saying, earlier service, I figured we would have people not realize time changed for the service, so then they would show up about the time is getting close to the end of the service. See, and that's where I think that leveraging social media, if you decide, hey, we want to do this earlier because we want you to be with us in person, but we also realize you've got family dinners that you're planning on doing, for lunchtime. So we're going to do an earlier service. That's where leveraging social media right now and saying, hey, don't forget. We do that for like daylight savings time. Why couldn't we do it if once or twice a year we have an earlier service on Christmas and Easter to try to get more people there because we're doing an earlier service so they can go spend the afternoon with their family at home. That's a way of leveraging it. Now, of course, you will have those that even on like daylight savings, even though not only has the church told them for like the last 3 weeks and the news has been telling them for the last week and everything on social media was telling them for the last 4 days, they still showed up as service was getting out. You'll still have those people. Mm-hmm. And then just record it and say, well, head home and watch it. Deer season starts, firearms like the day after Thanksgiving. Yeah. Let's see. I was trying to look. There was a couple. Show up dressed like Cousin Eddie.
Oh, if I had the hat, I would.
Blue leisure suit or bathrobe, your choice. Jarrod, Crocs and a bathrobe. Yep, I can see it. I can see that.
So many great ideas here.
Yep. Let's see. One of my concerns is we end up with the regulars that choose between Christmas Eve and a Christmas Day service.
That's a real problem. Yep.
Yeah, it is. Well, and especially in the smaller churches that have got fewer and fewer staff members that are on, because now we're saying, hey, we're going to ask you to do double duty for hopefully the same amount of results.
Yeah, my entire worship team is gone for Christmas. They're going to visit family.
Yeah.
So it's like
pre-recorded worship it is.
So YouTube? What do we do? No.
Yeah.
That's been banned. I can't do it again.
YouTube worship has been banned?
Yep. YouTube worship has been banned at my church. We tried it a couple of times. The last time we did it, it went not so well.
Didn't work so well.
No.
Yep. Yeah.
So
so
we're a cappella, baby.
John's saying it comes back to being perceived as the need is consume a message and music, not embrace the gathering of his body.
Get it.
Yeah, that one sung a little bit.
I love it.
But yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. However, this has been the ongoing debate of digital and physical. Is it still possible to gather in an online capacity? Some will argue that you can't. I would argue that you can. That I feel more connected to Jarrod than many people that I spend more physical hours and proximity to. And it's because we are connecting on a regular basis. And I think some of that comes into not just the time spent, but the quality of the time and what the purpose is. So what the body is supposed to be doing, edifying one and each other, building one and each other up. I mean, that's typically what you and I are doing throughout the week, Jarrod.
I'm halfway on that. While yes,
even with emojis, with Android rubbing his, little Apple.
I agree, but I think it's a middle ground. I think social media and this whole digital ministry and connections and that sort of thing, I think it's an in-between to the full deal. So while yes, I agree with you, I feel more connected to you than I do a lot of folks that I do see because that depth of stuff. But what should happen is
both.
Yes, I should want to see you now more and
Correct.
Connect, which I do. Like we've been talking about getting together again for a while. So it's like this, as long as it's a placeholder because we live thousands of miles away or however long it is, however far it is, until we can see one another and whatever. That's a more full experience.
Yep. And that's where I think that the churches that saw a lot of success in COVID, they were looking at the online as kind of a stopgap. It's like, we're doing this until we can get together. I think where the downfall came in is then lives had changed and some people and lives are busy and there's so many other things that are pulling our attention. And then again, to go to John's point, if we're not conveying that the gathering is more than just the word and it's more than just music, it's more than that. If we're not conveying that effectively, and all they're looking at is, well, it's just like the word and some worship. Like I can do that in my car and sometimes more effectively, but if we can convey that effectively, that it's more than that and it goes beyond that, that's where that hunger and desire comes in. And it's like, man, I'm going to miss this Sunday. I mean, at least I'll hear the same thing that you were hearing. So I'll still feel somewhat connected, but not as connected. It's kind of like, if you just sent leftovers from the family dinner home with me, it's like I still got a taste of the beef and noodles, but they weren't fresh and they weren't hot, and I didn't see the love that Grandma put into them.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
You can, I get it. You could probably, and God can do anything that he wants to do. Let me put out the trump card first. But you aren't going to be able to walk into the atmosphere and feel it thick with his presence. You aren't going to be able to, like, that one-off where we're all experiencing something that only God can do at the same moment in time. There's stuff like that that just knits you together, where we all go to collectively, whoa. And you may hear it on a recording, but it is another thing to look at people eye to eye and have wonder and awe on both your faces and go, oh, wow. I got a banquet table partook of something that tasted and was good. I don't even know how to put it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Tim's got a great one, and he pushes it even further. He says, fully agree that the church is responsible to lead people to celebrate, honor Jesus on around Christmas. To push the conversation, though, not gathering on Christmas does not equal not honoring. True. Yeah.
I love you, but it's irrelevant. I get it, and I don't want to be a stickler because, like I said, we're not going to be legalistic, and if somebody does it, but if you're going to do something.
Yeah. And that's what he's saying, that it's our responsibility to lead or celebrate on or around Christmas.
Yeah, you are going to
and that's
do
where
something.
The legalistic approach can come in when we say it has to happen on this day.
Has to be Sunday morning, 11 o'clock. And it has
right.
to, yeah, no.
Especially when we're saying it has to happen on December 25th, because we know that beyond a shadow of a doubt, that is the exact day that he was born on, exactly 2022 years ago.
I just think there's going to be something arise in your heart that goes, that day. That it is already a Sunday. It is already decreed to be his day by people, by our forefathers who have carved out this day to celebrate his birth. I find it, my mind would be blown to go, we ain't doing nothing. Like,
my mind would be blown if there was a church out there that says, hey, we're going to be gathering together on December 18th. And we will gather back together on like December 31st.
Yeah, because we do
or January 1st. But everything in between there for those 2 weeks, we're not doing anything. Like, that would blow my mind. I'd be like, huh? Like nothing. Like, not doing anything. That's where I would be shocked and confused. And it's not because that day in historical is super important. It's because we have consecrated, set apart this day for this purpose, and then to set that aside. Now, that's where I do think, as long as we're doing something and we are celebrating, we are honoring, we are remembering, like, I mean, really, that's the key and the essence in it. And whether that happens, because then we get the same thing if somebody's saying, well, it has to happen exact, like you're saying, at 11 o'clock, 11 a.m. Central Time, that has to happen. What about the people that are on the East Coast? Does that mean they have to start getting together at noon, and the West Coast had to show up at like 9 o'clock in the morning? And what about those people in Japan? Oh, wait, hold a second. They're on a completely different day now. So it's like, that's where I think we need to understand that it's relative. And what are we doing? Yes, celebrate. Now, how can we, if it's celebrating, if it's honoring, if it's remembering the importance behind the birth of Christ and what that means to all of us, and keeping the eyes focused on him. It's, hey, we're celebrating Jesus' birthday. And maybe the greatest gift that he wants is for us to gather together and to act like his body. If that's what we're doing, how has he best called us to do that with our unique giftings and abilities? And what can we do in this online digital space to help make that more powerful and more impactful? I think there's a lot we can do. And that's where I would almost challenge every single one of us to say what we have decided at this point, like what, 6 weeks out from Christmas. At this point, maybe there's more we can do. We still got 6 weeks. Maybe there's one extra thing that we can do to make it more impactful for somebody. What is that? I don't know. Maybe it's hyping it up. Maybe it's being more laid back. Maybe it's having, flannel pajamas on. Maybe it's wearing ugly Christmas sweaters. Maybe it's adding in a candlelight service. I guarantee what it's not. It is not what John says. It is not me doing a Christmas Eve service from the roof of our church and then diving off of it.
And then flipping off of it.
That it is not. We're not doing that, John.
It's already been done.
Yeah. I've already done one roof dive. That's good enough. Yep. Anyway, let's see if there's some other comments in here. You guys might get a Christmas card with me as Cousin Eddie. Love it. John saying we do a pre-recorded worship. We didn't have any musical for a couple of years. We finally now have a worship leader. I like that. Yeah. Let's see. Relationships are relationships. How you connect with them is different. There's something there too, especially in remembering that, the catchphrase, Christianity is not a religion, it's a relationship. Barring the theological aspect of true and undefiled religion is this. Yes, the relationship aspect of it that we do elevate and focus on, and keeping that in mind. And do I think Jesus is going to scold us and whip us because we missed his birthday one time? No. Any more than I think if something came up and there was something else, you know what? My wife, she doesn't get to do what she wants on her birthday coming up this year. She doesn't. I have already told her.
Come on.
I told her 2 years ago what we were doing on her birthday. And actually it was a year ago. So it's going to be 2 years by the time it comes around, because I told her, I said, your birthday is March 24th. We're watching John Wick Chapter 4 on your birthday. Like, that's opening night. So you have no choice. You're either going to enjoy it or you're not.
Why would she not want to watch John Wick on her birthday?
No, I think she's good. But in years past, she's like, what do you want to do for your birthday? Anything but just dinner and a movie. I don't want just dinner and a movie. Do something else. All right. Well, what does that mean? Well, I don't know. You don't know, dinner and a movie it is. I was like, if I got to come up with it, that's what it is. So I told her, I was like, here in a couple years, it's a dinner and a movie on your birthday. You got no choice. They said it was going to be March 24th. I've known that for almost a year now. That's the way it's going to be. So, now, is she upset about that? No. Even though I'm probably elevating John Wick Chapter 4 above her birthday. It's like, we can do what she wants on another day. But we're doing this. So, on or around. Yep. Tim saying, yes, do something on or around.
And
if
that's the thing,
pastor does or leads nothing, then maybe it's time to look for different work.
No joke. That's all I'm saying. I guess at the heart of it, it's like, I don't mind. Say, Josh, you decided we're going to honor Jesus on Tuesday, and then we're taking the rest of the week or whatever. Yep. For some reason, I think I would be cool with that. But for me, I don't know. It's just, these are just my confines. It is Sunday. It is Christmas. It is his day of celebration. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there with bells on. Nobody has to show up. Nobody has to join, but the whole church is invited. I'm going to be with my brothers and sisters. You're not going to be there with bells on. You're
going to be there with flannel and Crocs.
Flannel, Crocs, and Cousin Eddie hat on top.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, I'm good really with anything as long as people are just like, why? Like that would be the thing. The big thing for me is, why are we here? And I might take a little bit more of an issue with the church not doing anything than I would even with Christians. Not even like if they had Christmas and all they did was, family and presents and games, and they didn't read the Christmas story, and they didn't even pray, and they didn't even think about Jesus once on Christmas Day on any other year when it's not on Sunday. I have less of an issue with that than I would with a church not doing anything on or around. Just do something. Lead the people in such a way that you're saying, hey,
right,
there's a reason for the season. Like, it's called Christmas for a reason. Let's remember Christ. So that would be the thing. Tim's saying the best leaders will schedule events that are the things their people need, even if it means breaking from tradition. That said, our tribe's big tradition has always been, or has been, the candlelight service. I like the idea of, the Christmas candlelight services. Like, I really do. When I started looking into it more and trying to figure out why, I like it. I like what it is representing. I like what it's about. I just don't ever see it happening for me, just because I know what I'm doing on Christmas Eve.
It involves noodles.
It involves beef and noodles. Like, it's just, that's the way it is. There was one year not that long ago that she was like, I don't think I'm going to make beef and noodles. And I was like, well, I don't think I'm coming then. It was like, you don't start getting blasphemous like that with me. Beef and noodles? Well, I've never. So, anywho, Jen's saying that she is 1,000% okay with this move.
For the birthday?
Yes, the birthday. And then John had some comment that he puts there that Genevieve's responding to, and I'm going to completely ignore. He does say, please be literal with the bells, Jarrod. So make sure you have bells.
I've got like a whole list here.
Put bells on your Crocs. There you go.
Cousin Eddie.
Bells on the Crocs.
Bells
they've got
Crocs.
those little fittings that you sit inside Crocs and the little holes of the Crocs, the ventilation for the Crocs. You just, like, super glue some little bells on there, like little cat bells. Just super glue those on there. So as you're walking, everywhere you go, the bells are ringing. Everybody knows where Jarrod is. It's like
that's so bad.
A little bell on a cat's, collar. Yeah. Put it on there so you know where the cats are at all time, because they're sneaky.
Fire up a laser pointer, I'm gone.
Oh, great. Hey, Jarrod, anything else that we need to get to before I have to make a deposit?
No, that's it. I'm all nimbly bimbly like a cat. I love it.
All right. Well, hey, want to thank y'all for being here and join. And as usual, if you guys have got any topics that you would want us to discuss, pontificate on, give some, some hot takes on, we'd love to. Maybe not love to, but we might do it. But you know how to reach us. Hit us up on social. Jarrod is still currently at jarrod.and.jesse at Instagram. And I'm at Joshua Vowers everywhere and anywhere. Vlogpastors out.